तो कर सकते हैं।
किन के लिए? उन लोगों के लिए जिन्होंने निक की बात मानने से इनकार कर दिया। सबके पास लकी कॉइन नहीं होता। कम ऑन जेनेट, किस करो। हेड्स या टेल्स में से एक चुन लो, हो सके तो टेल्स को।
मैं ये सब नहीं मानती हंट।
लक की जरूरत सबको पड़ती है।
मेरी बात सुनो, हम जिंदा हैं और जरूर कोई वजह है कि हम बच गए। हमें ऊपर वाले का शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहिए, ठीक है?
कम ऑन, चलते हैं। तुम ठीक हो? ओके।
हाय, मैं तुमसे मिलना चाहती थी। तुम्हें थैंक यू कहना चाहती थी। तुम सच में हीरो हो। उस दिन अगर तुम नहीं होते तो हम और हमारे बच्चे जिंदा नहीं होते।
देखिए, मैंने कुछ नहीं किया। मैंने तो बस।
तुम हो। तुम्हें कैसे पता ये हादसा होने वाला है?
मुझे बस पता था।
शुक्र है आप और आपके बच्चे ठीक हैं। टेक केयर।
थैंक यू।
अपना ख्याल रखिए।
थैंक यू।
इसमें कुछ अजीब नहीं लगा। एक्सक्यूज मी, मैं वही सिक्योरिटी गार्ड जॉर्ज।
निक।
लॉरी।
हाय।
हाय।
मैं उस दिन वहां पर बहुत डर गया था।
उस हादसे के बारे में कुछ जानना?
तुमने मेरी बीवी को मारा। मैं अंदर जाके उसे बचा सकता था, पर तुमने जाने नहीं दिया।
मैं अपना काम कर रहा था।
वैसे मरना तो सभी को है।
इसमें उसकी कोई गलती नहीं थी।
बीच में बात मत कर।
सर, आपका जाने का वक्त हो गया है।
वक्त? तुम्हारे जाने का वक्त जल्द आएगा।
उठ क्यों गए?
मैंने एक बुरा सपना देखा।
इट्स ओके, सपने सच नहीं होते।
सच हो गया तो?
नहीं होगा, तुम सोने की कोशिश करो। मैं हूं ना तुम्हारे साथ।
on the back rank, and somehow black is just fine.
But you know, this is the secret in this position, these type of positions. I had quite a few games like that I think I have a great development and fantastic. I have my knight on e5. And in these positions, you know, I played with Yusupov, who was an expert in this kind of structures in the Petrov and others. They just go back knight g8, they go back knight e8, and everything is protected. And then within 2-3 moves, we simplify the position and it's equal. So it is very typical that even when you reach knight to e5, king on f8 is just the best spot for the king because of knight g8 possibilities, because knight e8 is protected, because quite a few things. And this can be done by black because the structure is so strong and so healthy that
$34-minute thing.
That was on day one?
Yeah, I think
I thought it was 40 minutes, I
maybe
think.
more.
Yeah, I
No,
thought
that
it was
was
40.
the electricity.
Oh. क्या करूं यार मैं एक तो मतलब इतना प्रेस्टिजियस गेम है आप जाओ ना प्रेस्टिजियस वेन्यू पे जाओ यार ये वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप चेस मैच को आप क्या हैबिटेट पे क्या लेके आ रहे हो आप?
हैबिटेट हमारे लिए तो भाई
थैंक यू
तो बाहर ऐसे बड़ा बैनर वगैरह लगाया है आपने. इट लुक्स सो नाइस. देयर इज अ गुकेश डिंग बैनर देयर with also pictures of commentators, so very beautifully done here by Habitat.
It's a small street, so you have to really look up to see the board.
But I did get some messages from people who are not into chess. They saw it, so
Yeah?
it is working.
That's so nice.
But for now, Gukesh also has gotten into a thinking mode. Look at him. I like this pose a lot. This is the chess player's thinking pose with both the hands like this. And agar dosto, if you are not a good chess player, but you want to look like one, this is how you should sit. ऐसे ही बैठते हैं सब वर्ल्ड क्लास प्लेयर. ये थोड़ा गुकी पोज है, ये थोड़ा टफ है.
This is like a Spider-Man pose.
ये एक्चुअली चश्मा रहेगा तो कर भी नहीं पा रहे.
Great joke for you.
What is this?
Another super chat here, Balraj bhai. Wonderful.
This is a great joke for Tanya.
Why did Stockfish 17 stop calculating? Tanya, please read.
Why did Stockfish 17 stop calculating and break down? Because every time it found a 40 depth brilliant move, Tanya chimed in. Maybe try thinking a little more aggressive next time. क्या है ये?
बढ़िया जोक था, बढ़िया.
You really enjoy pushing players to be more aggressive, clearly.
Oh.
Stockfish को भी तुम बोलोगी भाई be aggressive.
यहाँ पे अभी Ding is Stockfish because he's just stuck on this move right now.
Nice one.
Move chal do, but actually I fully understand. I mean, I think we all can that this position, even though it looks very balanced, it has those subtleties to be careful about. And the one thing that comes to mind for black, you want to try to exchange pieces. हमने देखा था वो white knight अगर e5 पे आ गया, once that bind is created, it gets difficult. I'm looking at some ideas. Do you want to dive a little bit into some alternatives for Dings, which I think are going on in his head right now?
Yeah.
It's a good moment.
Yes.
h6.
h6 I think will happen, but I'm surprised he's not making that move.
And Sagar, I have this point because I was also thinking about a plan that you had suggested for white. Let's say bishop goes back to h4.
Yeah.
In this position, can black go knight to h5? My idea is that when you play bishop g3 to g5, I want to give up my knight for the bishop. I'm eyeing that f4 square for the knight to come in.
क्या बात है?
I've solved the problem of knight e5. And I feel from Stockfish, I'm Stockfish.
Nice. I like this move, knight h5. It's a very good point.
Nice. From Stockfish to Stockfish. Very, very cool.
So knight f1, I think should happen here.
Let's
And
continue
then
g5.
Bishop g3, and then आप मारोगे
Knight se.
knight से, and I want to take back with the knight.
I give up my bishop because I don't want to allow knight f5.
Yeah. Knight takes here. And now, Sahil bhai, H takes या F takes?
Ooh,
F
tricky.
takes.
Because there is a question here. I can then bring my rook to f1, knight to e5. I do feel like white has this very nagging edge, but maybe not. No, Tanya, f6 is a nice move. I like f6 here a lot. Just putting that pawn on that. Engine बोल रहा है भाई. क्या ही बोल रहा है तू? I played f6 to limit the knight on f3 to jump to e5. But
Yeah. Because you want to improve your own knight and bishop, and how do you do that if white is coming to e5?
yeah, but actually bishop g6
Yeah.
as Sahil bhai showed looks dangerous after king f8 or king d8, rook
Guys,
e1.
look at Gukesh, by the way.
He's just meditating.
He's very
भाई
determined.
मैं सच बोलूं क्या 31 moves अगर मेरा opponent सोचेगा I would get up and start walking. I would do something. I would go to the resting area, go somewhere, washroom. कुछ तो
You would get impatient, basically.
Yeah, the main thing is, I think Gukesh was told, or maybe he just realized he needs to be at the board. He's not getting up. खड़ा नहीं हो रहा है वो, क्योंकि वो उधर घूम भी सकता है. You know, we know so much that Gukesh likes to walk and all. There's something about.
Does this add more pressure on Ding?
I
Just
think
Gukesh sitting there.
I don't know why he's doing this, because seriously, like, itni देर 31 minutes 49 seconds to just sit there is not easy,
But
guys.
maybe Gukesh already has a few answers ready. He's already thought about it. That's why he's not waiting to give Ding any more time. Basically, he knows that these are the possible variations where Ding can go, and I have my replies ready.
But वो लोग है ना चलते चलते भी सोच सकते हैं. Like they can also think while walking, going into the resting area, because board is in their head.
Sagar Bhai wants to see Gukesh chilling.
No, I just want. I cannot see, like, generally at any tournament you go, players get up after if their opponent had a long time thinking. है ना Tanya? Like at the Olympiad you see this.
Yeah.
But here it is an unusual amount of time both players are sitting.
But also, in all these other tournaments, this is one of a kind. This is unique. One, you don't have other games that you can go up, look at, watch your friends play. None of that is actually happening. I think Balraj's point, it hit me a little bit, that imagine sitting opposite Gukesh right now. You're constantly seeing your opponent go into this zen mode, sitting on the board, looking determined, hands folded.
Very intimidating.
Exactly. And this match, this stage is so much about mindset and psychology, right? Every small win, every little pressure you can put on your opponent,
Yeah.
you want to do that.
Technically, have you entered into the mid game of the
bhai.
championship?
I am getting a call right now from a very, very strong player.
Wow.
हेलो भाई. भाई कैसे हो? हाँ भाई ड्रॉ नहीं, सब रुके आपके लिए.
बताओ ना ड्रॉ हो रहा है कि नहीं.
नहीं भाई एकदम बहुत ही एक्साइटिंग गेम हो रहा है भाई, एंड क्राउड फुल, एवरीवन हियर लाइक समय भाई कब आ रहे.
ठीक है रुको रुको करता आता हूँ.
ये लेट्स गो guys. Samay bhai is going to be here. This time we don't need any likes or all on that side. But I think it's just the game that is interesting, and Samay is like, भाई draw हो रहा है तो मैं नहीं आ रहा हूँ. But h6 bishop h4 on the board.
Oh, nice.
And
Finally.
now
I actually think if Ding goes g5
knight
direct,
h5, knight h5 होगा.
मुझे भी लग रहा है, because
होगा.
g5 directly, we saw this line of the bishop coming back, white knight
Yes.
going on e5, that bind becomes a reality. So, and knight h5 is engine approved.
Number one preference of the engine.
Oh.
So I think Ding will find this move, and it's essential he finds this move. Otherwise, the pressure mounts.
Yeah, but again this thing, no Tanya, which you have also spoken about. अगर आपने 32 minutes सोचा है last move पे या something like 32-33 minutes, then you play h6. You know opponent is going to go bishop
Yes.
h4. फिर से
You
क्यों
prepared
सोच
the
रहे हो?
line.
Why are you thinking again? Now make your next move. So this is already a little bit worrying factor there.
So currently, what are the options that we've thought out for Ding right now?
G5 is one.
Yes.
To push the
That's
bishop.
the number one.
Knight
Yes.
H5 is actually Tanya's fantastic suggestion.
Yes.
B5 as Sahil Bhai points out to get the bishop.
Okay.
Anything else, guys? कुछ आपको लग रहा है black can play which Ding might do? Any other move coming into your mind? And maybe in the chat as well. Kanav Prutiji, thank you for your super chat. Very kind of you.
By the way, Sagar bhai, there is a rap which has come in.
अच्छा आ गया.
Oh, finally.
अरे
Here you
भाई,
go.
भाई.
अच्छा था, अच्छा
It's a very nice.
Devil says, Ding with the French, calm and composed. Gukesh attacks, but the lines stay closed. Moves so precise. Watch the board unfold. It's a battle of minds more precious than gold. Let's rap Sagar and Tanya. अरे भाई.
Very nice.
Yeah.
बढ़िया. क्या बात है. गाइज ये मैं बोलता हूँ कोई तो लोग फिर चैट में लिखते हैं क्रिंज 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 तो मेरे को बहुत बुरा लगता है बट
चैट में सब तारीफ कर दो भाई लगातार. लेट्स गो.
Hearts रुकने नहीं चाहिए for that rap. No, well done.
थैंक यू.
Well done. One.
अरे भाई थैंक यू नहीं वो तो बाद में अब गुकेश क्या खेलेगा.
Move is on the board.
What did he play?
No.
But Sagar bhai, more and more of late, the streams have started going with a live audience. How do you think has been your experience?
I'm actually really, it's been an eye opener for me. This audience here who are there. Yes, someone wants to say something. हाँ. Knight H5 G4 क्या बढ़िया आप नाइट को अटैक कर रहे हो बट कौन सा स्क्वायर वीक हो गया.
F4.
Yeah.
Bishop back.
Yes, but that bishop is protecting the knight.
You also have knight e2 as backup if needed, but you can just continue with development here in this position. I
Yeah, but then you can't take with the bishop because then your knight gets trapped in the middle.
You would take with the knight.
I'll
You're
take
right.
with the knight.
After
No,
knight e2, you would take with the
So
knight.
you're saying knight e2 is a backup, right?
Yes.
So if you move the king, you can't take with the bishop because your knight gets trapped in the middle.
नहीं भाई वो नाइट से ही मारेंगे हम. नाइट e2 चेक किंग f1 अगर मूव कर सकते हैं तो.
I will say knight
And
f6.
knight
Nahi, if I move my king in the h file, then
And then
फिर
take
भी
with
मार
the
देंगे.
knight.
नाइट से बिशप मारेंगे देखो.
it's still an interesting position.
Yeah, sure.
Of course,
No,
of course.
100%.
It's an imbalanced position still. Like,
Agreed,
It can,
There's no doubt about
Agreed. Bhai, you are asking how does it feel with a live audience? This thing.
Yes,
here,
it's great, right?
it's like people are suggesting moves. We can actually say something.
I feel so happy I found a similar rated player to play with now. Let's play.
ना बोल रहा है वो बोल रहा है मैं सिमिलर नहीं हूँ. I'm stronger भाई बलराज भाई.
और मजा आएगा फिर देख.
But I also want to point out that white has to be careful making moves like g4 because वो जो bishop on c8 है, which right now isn't doing anything, will suddenly have a target. So for example, in that position after knight f4, bishop g3, knight e2 is the backup option. But I think even if you move your knight out of the way, Sahil, the other knight, I'm thinking knight f6, is that a move that we can consider? G4 pawn under attack, h3 nahi aa raha hai, and suddenly you have to defend a little bit. So need to be a little careful when you push pawns in general in chess.
You're creating more islands, unfortunately, as well, right? So,
Targets.
More islands, more weaknesses.
more weaknesses.
एंड डिंग सोच क्या रहा है? अभी तो h6 के बाद कुछ खास चेंज नहीं हुआ. व्हाट इज ही नाउ थिंकिंग?
Ding is again going down on time. 24 minutes he is behind Gukesh. And look at him looking at Gukesh, then again looking at the board. He's just stealing a glance at his opponent कि भाई कर क्या रहा है तू?
I'm honestly starting to feel a little bad looking at Ding's expressions, you know, because I'm just trying to understand what's going on in his mind. As you said, Sagar bhai, that, you know, once you've already played this, your opponent has played that, you should already be ready with the reply. But clearly, there is something which is going on where he's not able to create a solution for.
It's, you know, it's like a suppose if Samay comes here.
Yes.
And he does a setup.
Yes.
Then the punchline has to follow, right?
Yes.
अगर नहीं हो रहा है, then you are not in good form.
Absolutely.
You know, so same way for Ding, he's set up like h6, bishop h4. Now the punchline knight h5 has to be played or g5 something. He's not making it.
Correct.
But you know, in that case, You've done the punchline so many times that you know the correct one that needs to follow. We can also make moves and take it back on this stage right now. But for Ding, you know, he's thinking, he has to find that path inside, right? He's calculating g5, he's calculating knight h5. And again, it took us a long while to come to this idea.
Yeah.
We also wanted to go g5 first. So I think it's absolutely justified for Ding at this moment to take another 7 to 8 minutes before making a decision.
Right,
Because
and-
it's a critical moment, Sagar.
I agree. And while Ding is thinking, Tanya Balraj
Schedule. I think the movie was finished within 2 months of shooting.
Wow.
Yeah. So and in that movie I had to play a dual role.
Okay.
Yeah, one poor guy and one rich guy, and so I had to change. You know, there was shots that I had to be in that shot together, the rich man and the poor guy. So they had to take one half of the film and then the other half. So that's what they did then. I don't know now.
Yeah.
So that both the rich and the poor guy, which was me, can be in the same film. You know.
Oh, I want to see this movie now. Did you use any skills you'd learned from chess with the acting, like memorizing in terms of lines or
Well,
confidence?
yeah, acting at the board?
Yeah, that was very tough, you know, and yeah, you need to have try to tell yourself to have that confidence, you know, so that you have a positive outcome of what you're doing. But it was tough because first time for me because the actresses, they were, you know, professionals. The one because I was paired with 2 actresses, very good actresses. So yeah, so it was tough, you know.
Yeah. And talking about tough, we see that Ding just spent 33 minutes on pushing the H pawn, and now thinking again for 8.5 minutes before making this move, knight H5.
You know, I like that knight H5. Why? Because I want to play G5 and just take that bishop, you know, with my knight, and maintain my bishop.
Yeah, should we look at some moves?
Yeah, let's
maybe?
have a look at the
Yeah.
possibles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming white gives a check, but
Yes.
why not?
Why not?
What else?
King F8.
Now, we were discussing, Ivanka and I were discussing this type of idea in a similar position.
Okay, I still play G5, no?
G5, hunting down the bishop.
Then take.
And just take it. And
then think again.
That's how we do it, right, Grandmasters? It's a myth that we see into the future. We just
But actually, I have noticed that grandmasters are very specific with their calculations.
Yeah.
They don't calculate absolutely everything. They go,
No, usually we analyze only like 1-2 moves, and then but many variations, you know, except when there are force variation, wherein you have to think like 6, 7, 8 moves ahead. You know, like when you sacrifice a bishop on H7, and then knight G5, queen H5, then king H7, rook E8, queen H7, check, check. You have 2 pawns for a bishop. Then you try to analyze if enough compensation, position-wise, etc. Because 2 pawns is supposedly not enough for a piece, no? But then you try, you know, the other compensation. So then in that case, you think like 10 moves ahead. But in many cases, David, we just look for 2-3 moves, yeah?
Yeah.
fully agree. Sometimes
And
just
then-
one move.
And then you
evaluate, right?
evaluate, yeah.
Yeah. And one thing that I was telling for our masterclass was that I've noticed grandmasters in particular, they always verify their analysis and ask themselves, hey, what will my opponent play? Which is something that's very important. So let's dive in then. So we were, G5 is the threat, I think.
Yeah, I mean, semi-threat maybe.
That's
At least
fine.
it's bishop pair. grandmasters like the bishop pair, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a grandmaster.
Because
but,
the bishop is,
commentary.
you know,
Mhm.
the bishop is.
Yeah, the bishop is being hunted down.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, you do have to accept that the bishop is going to potentially be swapped off for the knight.
Hmm. Yeah, we're going to play g5 pretty much guaranteed, right?
Yeah, that is our threat.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to play bishop d8.
just because you can. Try and get it out.
Well,
I don't know why we're laughing. It might just be a
it
good
might
move.
be a good move, actually.
And then knight e5, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because you played bishop d8, I want to play knight b8.
And then I play knight e5.
And then I think again.
I
Knight
don't know.
c6.
Yeah. So anyway, that's
Yeah, and okay, it's
that's
maybe not
just an
great, but
idea.
Yeah, bishop. Yeah, it can come out now. You kept it alive.
I don't know, but it's unlikely. But you know, never know.
I mean, the variation we looked at.
Rook e1, king
Yeah.
f8. Now, knight e5.
Yeah, knight e5.
Because it seems you have only two moves. You know, knight e5, or I don't know if you want to play b3, but no, not much. So knight e5, bishop g.
b3 is weakening, right? It's risky, maybe long term.
Yeah. Knight e5.
Oh, yeah. Knight e5. Oops. Knight e5, g5.
G5, bishop g3. Take. Yeah.
And big
Now
question.
what?
f6 looks risky. I guess white will not trade anything. Just go back, maybe.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, because it opens the. Let me see.
Squares.
Yeah, and then you just go knight e3.
Yeah, knight e3. And
yeah.
Ugh, ugly.
Ugly.
Weak.
Yeah.
So not f6.
No, not f6. Maybe what? Knight f6. What is that?
Yeah. I mean, two ways. Maybe taking is double-edged, but knight f6 I like. Yeah.
Knight f6.
And later, black is going to start.
Knight f6 to play knight g4, no? Just exchange. I don't know.
Maybe.
Or just develop, no?
Yeah.
Knight f6. So you may develop like bishop e6 and rook e8, no?
It's actually quite hard for white to come up with a plan. Before knight h5 from Ding, it felt like Ding couldn't find a plan. Now it's up to Gukesh to find.
Could you...
f4, you mean?
Yeah, I was thinking f4 as well.
f4 is good.
Let's...
Ivanka loves pushing her pawns.
Yeah. I play it up for commentary, but yes.
Oh, but how about this? Knight h5?
Yeah, I
Again, one knight
no,
lands.
but bishop d1, and then he has to go back now.
But this pawn is...
You can
the
take,
pawn.
but you can take on g5.
Yeah.
Sorry, the pawn.
Take.
And now knight. You put g4.
G4?
Did you mean rook
Hang on,
f1?
there's also rook f1.
Ah,
The
no,
bishop
but
takes knight.
takes the knight.
Take.
Yeah.
But I like your g4 maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, g4.
Oh, it's getting very concrete. This is where Gukesh will be calculating very deeply here.
g4. How about
Knight.
You mean f6?
Yeah, then the knight f3.
Or knight f4?
Yeah, that's a lot of choice suddenly. This is where we stop, we evaluate, and we go back and look two moves deep. And
Exactly.
Knight f6, yeah, that's good.
Then knight f3, knight df3.
And then you take, no? We have to take.
Take. Yeah, feels like it's fizzling out somehow. Things are simplifying. Probably take this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just, okay.
Take and take.
And evaluate. Rough.
Yeah, maybe better for black on account of the bishop pair. And
King g7.
Yeah, and now the bishop is coming to...
Rook f1, I don't know, bishop h5 or rook f8 or...
Bishop h5.
Or f6.
Yeah.
f6, yeah. No,
But
black
we went
is okay here.
Black is okay.
But we went into the weeds there, so after knight...
deep.
h5. Let's.
But g5 is coming and black's getting the bishop pair. I wonder whether... sometimes I ask myself, what would alpha 0 do? Probably play a4 and a5. And then b3 and try to get a bishop on this pawn.
Oh.
It's probably slow.
And what about if you ever do g4?
Ooh.
Like, I don't know whether to throw in
g4.
g4. No, I was thinking rook e1 first, but there's this issue of like g5 as well, just like they do in the Slav. opening. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I was joking about the pawn pushes, but you're proving me right, Ivanka.
no. That's literally my. I was going to say
Everyone needs
middle
it.
name, but then I just realised that was a bad middle name.
Everyone needs a trademark. Yeah, I mean, this type of thing could happen, and we see a weird pawn structure, but black has the bishop pair. Black getting this pawn back should be equal, should be fine. But g4, I would happily probably jump
Knight f4 also.
Yeah. Then rook e1.
Check. I move. And you can pin me, but I'm not sure you're ever winning this piece.
No, I'm just really focused on like the knight coming into e5. I mean, that's the only move that really makes any sense.
Yeah.
Unless...
Bishop g3, no?
Yeah, bishop g3 looks like a decent
And
try.
then knight e5, what?
Yeah, I'm glad it's them, not me, trying to work out these little details. It's that type of position, you have so many moves as well. It's hard to pick just one. I mean, g5 looks a bit committal here. But f6, there's knight h4.
Yeah, somehow pawn moves like f6, they just weaken the light squares.
If black could get two moves and play g5 as well, just shut out the white knights, then black is totally fine. But yeah, like you said, weaken the light squares, unfortunately. And again, g5, just before I close the door and dominate this knight, you have knight e5.
Knight e5.
Yeah. And okay, white has something, a little something here maybe.
Because threat now is bishop f5, is that so?
Yeah, maybe bishop f5, maybe even just take here.
How about king g7? But he will take now the f4?
Probably I take.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's not such a big deal. Weak pawns, but I don't know if I can come round. Gukash is meditating again, meanwhile.
Maybe an unexpected move.
Yeah, knight h5, right?
Yeah.
Knight f6?
Knight f6. h3.
You cannot play knight h7.
Yeah, knight h7, there's
You
a problem.
take, you just take. Bishop e6.
Bishop e6. Knight h4. I want to come around and eat this weak pawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting position.
Anyway.
Yeah.
This is how I like
That's
to play
too
chess.
far already.
Yeah, this is too far.
we really have gone very deep. But it just goes to show what a kind of complex position this is.
Despite without the queen, no?
Exactly. No queens, no rook as well.
Yeah.
And
Almost symmetrical, but still a lot of life.
exactly. But I'd like to thank you, Eugene, for joining us
pleasure.
and
Thank you
sharing
very
with us all your stories.
Thank
It
you
was
very much,
absolutely wonderful to hear them and, of course,
Thank
listen
you
to
very
your
much
analysis.
for having me here. Thank you very much.
Please come back sometime.
Yeah, sure. Just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Most
here,
welcome.
because I'm part of the, I'm a member of the appeals committee.
Yes.
So I have to be here.
Yeah. Well, we'll take you up on your word. It would be an absolute pleasure to
Thank
have you
you.
back here again, sharing with us your insights. And there you can see Gukash deep in thought as he ponders over what to do next. It's a complicated issue, so many possibilities for Gukash. And the thing is, there's only like 2 or so plans available to him. It's either like the knight jumping into e5 or a pawn break on the queen side. Yeah. And somehow he has to orchestrate doing this in the best possible manner. And
Yeah, some of the plans we've mentioned as well, you don't necessarily need to just focus on one. You can mix and match. You can play for some of those variations, those forcing lines we were looking at, and then throw in something on the queen side. You can start with stuff on the queen side, then switch your focus. And both sides very flexible. And this really, I think, shows what we were talking about in previous days. Actually, the players spend more time when it's about maneuvers, it's about picking a plan, than they do on calculation, which is just natural and second nature to them. They're both fluent in calculation, but I think everyone needs a bit of time to formulate a long-term plan.
It's not easy, and this is the kind of position which is brewing with tension on every single level, you know, on the board, on the nerves, as well as the players, you know, try to think, oh, this is my worst placed piece, how am I going to fight that? How am I going to put pressure? How do I'm sure this is also running through Gugesh's mind, like, how am I going to stop Ding taking over the initiative, especially if Ding actually gets the bishop pair. He does have, of course, this long-term trump there on c4.
Yeah, this is far from the type of position which could fizzle out into a quick draw. This is still very tense and is likely to remain so. And yeah, Jovanka, I want to ask for predictions now. First of all, time scramble, less likely and probably not as important as other days.
Well, we're only 15 moves in. We're only 15 moves in, and the players have used a lot of time on the clock. I can see this one actually heading towards a time scramble. If this tension remains, now if the tension is not on the board, I think it might maybe just fizzle out into a draw, or well, we'll see. But there we do see the players locked in thought. And, well, we have another guest joining us in the studio. It is the CEO of FIDE. It is, of course, Grandmaster Emil Sutovsky. Emil, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. It's all so cozy. And yeah, you two guys create the atmosphere, but also I think it's the event itself that passes all this, you know, vibe.
Yeah, the vibe here is incredible. It's my very first World Championship match. How are you finding this here in Singapore?
Well, it's my third World Championship match I'm in charge of, and every championship is obviously special. And I remember back in 2021 was the first time in Dubai when Magnus played against Nepal. And it was absolutely, you know, first time experience, and you have to take into account so many things. Now today it feels almost that, you know, something that you're used to, but every time it's challenging, and I have to say that many things go easier than it used to be thanks to great cooperation with the local organizing committee. And Singaporeans have been really, really working hard to create all the atmosphere. It's not only about the players, but all the surroundings, the fan zones, the competitions aside, the side events. So it's I really feel great here, and we have also a lot of great touch with governments here, and the event runs smoothly. And I think also spectators all around the world could feel that there's something special going on here in Singapore. And the match itself is always, you know, World Championship match, what can you say?
Yeah, and I do remember when FIDE announced that the match was happening here in Singapore, and I was in Norway Chess in Stavanger, and there was immediately a buzz. Everyone was like, we want to be part of this. It's a very special place. And knowing Singapore, I'm sure they'll put on a spectacular competition.
Definitely, expectations were high, and I hope we managed to deliver what was expected. And also, I have to single out the cooperation with Google, because it's not only just that they are presenting sponsor, but they are actually more than a sponsor, they're a partner. And if you saw the arts and culture gallery which we had, or AI activations, or all sorts of promotions which Google does towards the event, so they take it seriously, and I hope it could be a start of beautiful cooperation going forward.
And can you tell us how that came about?
Yes, it took quite a bit of effort at the early stages. It was Kevin Gao, the head of LOC and CEO of Singaporean Chess Federation, who actually approached them and made first contacts, and they were inclined to support. And but we didn't have a firm commitment. And when accepting the bid from Singapore, it was not deal done, and we had to basically only after the Singaporeans got the right to host the match, we started working closely already, like a trilateral with Google, and very soon we realized that we are aligned mostly on the way it should be and how they see the event, how we see the event. And for us, it was very important that we managed to streamline all the, because FIDE have different KPI from local federation, obviously. So Google has their own objectives and ambitions, but we have had this journey for over 4 months, which included weekly calls with Google and Singaporean Chess Federation and almost daily correspondence. And of course, part of it there was like a daily contact with local organizing committee. And at the end of the day, we managed to arrive where we are, and I think it's good for chess. It's good for Singapore, for the chess community in Singapore. It is, and I think spectator or general spectator just may enjoy more than he or she used to enjoy previously.
And how does it feel as the CEO of FIDE to walk out into this fan zone and see a Google stand with Gemini generating all these incredible images of chess pieces and?
Right, I think it's it's part of this. When I first saw it like a couple of months ago, it was exciting. Now I'm used to it a bit more, but nevertheless, it's great to feel it. But also, I would single out also another competition which has started prior to the match. It is organized by Kaggle, which is a daughter company of Google, if we may call. So we already have around 1,000 of IT developers working in this field, competing for the laurels of the winners of the competition. And I think it's also exciting that they try to develop something new, something that the match would be sort of a trigger to start this competition. And I think it's pretty exciting. And one more thing, which was rare in previous World Championships, is that we are here almost totally sold out every day. Which indicates huge interest of the public. It also indicates that Singaporean chess scene is ready to go bigger because let's put it honestly. I mean, compared to India or to China, you wouldn't expect hundreds of people coming every day to see chess in Singapore, but that's what's happening. And actually, that's happening all over the place. I can recall that we have had this, let's say, pleasant surprise back in Toronto during the candidates where we had it every day, and now already a month before the World Rapid and Blitz in New York, we are sold out on some days. It's crazy. The interest for chess is huge. In New York, in particular, I mean, the prices are quite high for the ticket, but still people are buying it like to any other major sport events, and that gives you a feeling that it's something important. Chess becoming not a niche sport, but in some regards a mainstream sport.
It's really nice to see the fans are coming from all across the world. I've been meeting fans here from the US, from Europe, who've traveled specially over. And the World Rapid and Blitz, that's going to be huge on Wall Street. And you're going to be there?
Yes, that's another big project we spent a lot of time developing, because this time we made it special. It's not only in New York, it's Wall Street, and it's not only Wall Street, it has a reach program there. The event itself, the venue itself, will have also the special day, which would be dedicated to a chess and finance conference. We dubbed it Wall Street Gambit.
Nice.
And it's well attended already now, and we have we really believe that that's the way to go if we aim at the breakthrough. I'm as a CEO, I have to say that I feel we are near saturation into our previous modus vivendi, if you wish. We organize great events, prize money goes every time higher and higher. It's great. But now I feel that my role as CEO, and I'm already like 6 years in my position. Okay, I was Director General, later converted to CEO. It would be that if we manage to have a real breakthrough, to have networks covering chess, to have major newspapers having regular coverage of the events, to have chess stars popular not only in YouTube or Twitch, but really being role models. And it's not happening overnight. Surely you need quite a bit of effort. But I mean, Wall Street, isn't it the most suitable place to go? Maybe only second to Singapore. Yeah. So, I'm happy we have such iconic locations for the event.
Wall Street, Google, it does feel like chess is leveling up. Now, I'm going to ask you to put your Grandmaster hat on because I've also caught you looking at the position.
Right.
And we saw some moves there from Gukesh. He just gave a check and the king slid back to f8. What are your impressions of this position?
Well, it looks like black is totally okay, right? I mean, hard to find any serious advantage for white or any advantage for white. Knight goes to f4. Knight e5 by itself is not a real threat. So I think black is okay. I wonder if you discussed, I didn't have a chance to listen to the broadcast earlier, if you discussed the opening strategy, because that's the most curious point in this game. Because so Gukesh opens e4 and Ding comes up again with e6. I would think that Gukesh did not expect e6 as a first choice. Because if you expect it as a first choice, you probably do not play exchange French. I mean, probably that was like that. Okay, I play e4. He probably would not repeat this e6 because e6 is, he may have thought that Ding played e6 because he didn't expect e4 in the first game. So he would not play e6 again. He will play his normal e5, and then they prepared something in Gioco Piano or reloads. So, and then they may have decided, as usually chess players do like that, and if he plays French, okay, I don't go for this one. I have half of idea in this line, so I'll try it. So half idea in this is ED. You will see knight f3, bishop d6, bishop d3, c5. Yeah, this was not played for many years because in this line, I think one of the first games were played, and then castle c4, rook e1 check, bishop e7. No, c4, I think.
No, sorry, c4, sorry.
Rook e1, bishop e7, bishop f1, and then b3, next move somehow, castles and b3. I think that was an old game like Kasparov-Korchnoi.
It's a Kasparov game.
I think it's Kasparov-Korchnoi, yeah. And after that, black stopped playing this c5 idea, but probably there's new developments because nowadays engines are readily getting into the positions with isolated pawns. So maybe instead of c4, he planned something else, for example. I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't analyze. But this line was considered rather unpleasant for black to play c5, castle c4, and black played more solid lines like bishop d6 instead of c5.
Yeah. And this is very trendy, bishop d6.
Yeah, and queen e2 check, and there were many games, and actually I remember Vishy playing, I think, beating Hui Fan in this line in Isle of Man. And in Candidates 2020, I think Grishuk played again Wang Hao. Yeah.
Yes.
And he got a very serious advantage, but didn't manage to win. So there is a line which is still, let's say, rather poisonous, but c5 was played quickly, and c3 was, once again, c3 is the move which was played in Toronto Candidates, if I remember correctly. Was it Nakamura, right? So I don't know why not castles, once again. That might be because my knowledge is more historical, even not ancient, but historical. And here, yeah. So c3, and then they got to the position very quickly to the endgame. Bishop d6, we need to check. If I remember well, it was not played queen e2 by Xen, and he just castled or something like that.
Yes, I think so. And
or maybe black played bishop e7. This I don't remember. Anyways, the queens were on board, and now all these endgames are quite curiously is about timing. It's not just an endgame; it's whether black manages to consolidate or not.
It's interesting. We were debating whether it was an endgame or a queenless middle game. Or you say endgame, I trust that. I agree.
Yeah, it is a concrete endgame. Let's put it this way, dynamic endgame. Because if white has, let's say, one tempo to have already in this position rook e1 check, for example, imagine it's white to play rook e1, king f8, knight e5, and white will have a serious pressure. But the problem is that black is in time. So I'm not sure Gukesh had any meaningful idea coming to that game if e6 is happening. It's a bit strange, but it's also curious how chess develops. You know, when Kasparov played Karpov, I mean, it was clear, let's say, that Karpov, after the match in 85, wouldn't play e4. He played just d4, and you would know. Then things continued to be like that. I remember when Leko played Kramnik. First game that was e4, and Kramnik played Petrov, and actually he won as black in Petrov. It was a Dresch position. And then suddenly in game 3, or was it game 4, second white game of Leko, he played d4. And Kramnik was so surprised, was so surprised. So he thought for 10 minutes and played some obscure line, which was not his second choice of opening, but was the third one, and he lost. And after that, he shared that before the match, one of my seconds asked, "Okay, but what if Leko prepared d4?" No, he won't prepare d4. And that was the preparation about the first move d4. So that's indeed happened in the World Championship match, and not in recent times. It was like what, 10 years ago, a bit more. So nowadays, all top players play e4, d4, knight f3, or c4, depending on the opponent. And here what comes e4 from Gukesh, but e6, once again, I feel that he was not, particularly today, he was not expecting it. And then it was like a decision, okay, if he's going to play, we will do that.
And you've actually been the second in important matches. For instance, you were the second for Shirov in the match between Kramnik and Shirov.
That's true.
And then for Kamsky as well.
Indeed, I was with Shirov it was 1998, and later with Kamsky it was 2008, 2010.
And what was the experience like being a second? I mean, because we were just discussing here almost like the psychological level as well to these matches.
I always loved that role because that was also a period where engines were not that strong. So that gave us more and more chances to to suggest some ideas which were underappreciated by computers, and then you could come up with some unexpected idea, or the best feeling is that you managed to prove that computer is wrong. So today it's almost doesn't happen. Today what you are looking at is you are trying to find the most unpleasant 000, and that's a different story. Of course, when I talk about it, we talk only about the very top chess. Let's say it's irrelevant for players below 2,500. So to 99% of chess players, it's irrelevant. But if we talk about top chess, today is mostly about psychology. By that time, it was about finding ideas which were underappreciated by computers and could give you an ability with a creative second to come up and to win the game. Okay, the best example is a game Kasparov Anand in New York. You remember game 9 with a sacrifice. So computers, okay, at that time, Ruy Lopez. So I enjoyed pretty much, and also I think it suited myself because as a player I was always well prepared. Maybe not. I mean, if my playing skills were matching my analytical skills, probably I wouldn't end up in FIDE.
I always feared playing you, Emil. I always knew it would be power e4. You'd have it all worked out.
Sacrifices
and it's just, how do I
galore,
survive
yes.
the opening?
But talking about sharp move, a sharp move has played on the board. I must confess, I started to smile like a Cheshire cat when I saw it on the board because it was one of the moves that we were looking at with Eugene Torre.
Your suggestion, Ivanka. Push those pawns. Why not?
Well, direct play. So asks a very concrete question. What are you going to do with the knight? Or are you going to go g5 and copy?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if knight f4, he wants to play bishop g3 probably?
This is what we looked at.
Yeah, and it's a bit tricky. Knight e5 is the threat, and hard for black to actually maintain this knight. I was saying earlier you would love to have f6 and g5 to just control the white knight jumping, but you can't control it going this way, or if after f6 you go this way.
So what are the options for black? If I just play something, f6?
f6 here, then knight h4, probably. A bit scary suddenly.
Scary it is. But if I don't, you play knight e5, right?
Isn't there bishop takes knight after f6?
f6.
Oh,
wow, yes.
Oh, and bishop g6.
Even stronger.
Bishop g6.
Wow.
Yeah, well.
And then I'll pretend I saw that, and I'll go king g8.
Okay.
And knight and f8, there is no mate.
There is no mate.
But bishop f5 probably good enough.
Yeah.
Bishop f5 now.
Or
after,
yeah,
or first, yeah. Actually, whoops, yeah. Now I saw that. And black is obliged to give up material.
Yeah, that's probably winning, but it won't happen, obviously. f6 there, not the best move. But what to do? I mean, probably this position is, as I earlier said, is about a very concrete, let's say, course of action within 2-3 forthcoming moves. And if black is okay, then he is okay. But maybe he needs to play precise moves right now, right here.
Yeah. This one is awkward because if you don't see the precise moves, you get really scared. I wonder if there's anything.
So G5, you mean G5 is the previous move?
Yeah.
G5 here is also an option after this, right?
Ah, yeah.
Here,
G5.
Let's say to support your pawn and so on.
And here knight E5.
Knight E5 as well. So maybe I can take and play bishop C5 and pretend that I have enough counterplay.
Yeah, this one's hanging as well, which is a bit unfortunate. Okay, I'll
take on bishop F5.
Bishop F5.
Yeah. Reluctantly take, but yeah,
still very concrete. If Black is in time to play King E7 and take and Rook G8, but maybe he's not, right? Knight F3 and you control everything.
Also, you have a King G2, King F3.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it looks
hungry.
It looks unpleasant. So what if we get back to the position now on screen after G4?
And instead of knight
actually
F4.
a good lesson for those who watch us now, because 99% of players after G4 would play almost immediately knight F4, just without the second thought. And here you see Dink spends his time and makes some calculations. Maybe he calculates G5, maybe other moves, but he's not in hurry.
Yeah, this is the difference between classical and like rapid or blitz, because rapid or blitz you just play knight F4 and deal with the consequences. You might find yourself in trouble suddenly, but here you can work out whether it's actually best to jump in. And
so what happens after G5? Let's try and see what.
What's the most ambitious move? G5 maybe.
Bishop G5 or
two options, right? Take or take. I don't really see anything else.
Bishop G3, knight G3 seems okay.
Yeah, seems totally fine, and some knight F6, and this little guy's hanging. So, okay, to take or not to take? Let's try. Takes. So white's a pawn up.
Yeah, but Bishop F4,
Bishop F4 right?
Prevents you from playing, and I threaten G4.
Yeah.
Knight. That looks more than good for Black. Maybe Black is better here.
Unless I can.
H6.
H6. I just want to be a bit naughty.
Knight F6. Maybe.
Yeah. Just to point out, this one is a runaway pawn, and the white rook gets in. Whoops. So yeah. So knight F6 controls my rook. Yeah, this is very annoying actually. G4. Unless I have to go round now. I'll try and hop with some knights. But probably just G4 and you can safely take this pawn, right?
Yeah, but still it's unclear, I agree. But it's surprisingly difficult for Black to find a simple way to equalize or to be even better, probably. Knight F4, G5, what? Yeah. So G5, and if I just take on H5 immediately?
Take.
Yes, and using tempo somehow, like Bishop F5 now.
And knight F6.
Yeah, takes and knight H4.
Yeah, I don't like the fact you have.
Can you take the knight? The pawn first, instead of taking on C8.
As first to take a knight.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a difference if I take this?
No, I just wanted to deliver a knight to F5.
Yeah, the knight.
The end.
No, exactly. I mean, it's unpleasant for.
Still unpleasant for Black, right? Knight goes to F1.
Sure.
King goes to F3.
Yeah, this knight comes round. Yeah, somehow knights are just better in these positions.
Like you remember when Mikhail Tal played Mikhail Botvinnik, the famous game where in Caro-Kann where Tal sacrificed pieces, got pawns and so on, and Botvinnik managed to parry all the threats and basically won the game convincingly. And after the game, Tal says, "Yeah, I thought about this line, and Botvinnik said, "Yes, and I just felt we have to trade rooks and to leave knight." so that's what is in these positions. So you have to understand which kind of pieces you want. Because for Black, trading rooks would be nice, and bishop go to C1. It maybe does work.
Yeah.
We have a move.
Okay, we have a move.
Knight F4.
Let's go back. G5 felt risky if he, especially that type of variation. Two-result game.
Right, but now really critical. I mean, that's one quality of the top players. They know that the critical moment is happening right now and here. So they invest more time and they have to spend it. And even they are not too worried to getting short of time, but knowing that that's a critical moment. If they manage to cross it in the best possible way, okay, they'll have like 10 minutes to complete all the moves. Yes, it's difficult, but the position will be already winning or drawing. So that's why they're taking time in this critical juncture, and let's see what's going on. So bishop g3, how we protect us, black?
Not so easy.
Knight f6, could you do?
Knight f6, and white jumps in. Some issues now with this knight, and potentially with the black bishop if you move it.
And maybe again g5.
G5, yeah. And this is where, yeah, I could take and play h3 and try to, again, just establish a bit of a bind. This pawn is weak long term.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to choose, I always would choose white, but I wouldn't be surprised to learn that black is totally okay and more than one than in one way, because it feels like black did everything correct.
Yeah.
And he cannot be much worse. It can be, if anything, slightly worse. So bishop g3, right?
Bishop g3.
Gukesh should place now bishop g3. We think so. How to see other move? And
I think he's away from the board, but he'll most likely play that move quickly when he returns.
Right. First time we see somebody is not. You remember in Astana it was
they were never there.
Yes. Yeah. How did you feel about that?
Well, it was sort of awkward because we felt that we created too good conditions in the players' lounge.
Yeah.
So they were preferring to staying there and then to enjoy and to think out of this. Anyways, yeah, it was a bit strange. When it was for a couple of minutes, that's normal. But when it was like for 10+ minutes, you had some sort of drama without actors, and that was a bit
hard to sell it as a TV sport if neither player is sitting at the board, I guess.
Yeah, actually, chess as a TV sport is something that is a more major question. Yeah? Not only about the match, about the formats, about what would it make to be a real show, to where you have this balance between chess remaining chess, between chess which is cherished by people, children, sponsors, governments, and the large audience. We are yet to find because even for the World Rapid and World Blades, which are better suited for chess TV, we still are not in let's say the scope of major networks broadcasting them. So it's very difficult to balance it, and the risks are enormous, because if you lose your niche, you may lose it without gaining anything. So the upside should be very serious to have this huge change in the format. We are looking into all possible.
Yeah, and it's the centenary year for FIDE, 100 years, and I was curious, how does FIDE see chess? Is it an art, a sport? I mean, what is the future?
Well, chess, no matter how we see it, but chess more and more is a sport, yes. But we also see it as a very important tool for society, because you see the society is rapidly changing, but we see, apart of the negative things, there are many positive things which are happening, because we used to say, like kids are attached to smartphones and everybody's attention span is lower and so on. But there are ways to actually to use all these technologies to make the world better. I think chess is one of the ways, one of the things which can benefit from it as well. And of course, we have a lot of educational programs to that effect. And Chess Today is taught in more. The state programs are in more than 90 countries in the world, and FIDE oversees it. And that's also a very important part. Then there is a social part of it, because chess is suitable, for all ages. It's suitable for all the age groups, so it keeps your mind being busy. It's also a lot of fun, because chess has a unique feature which many other excellent games do not have. It is easy to learn. It is hard to master. There are more exciting games than chess, but they're not as easy to learn. There are more exciting games than chess, but to play the game for two, you cannot really think of. I mean, you need more, you need teams and so on. They may be more exciting games than chess, but they are not suitable for online, and chess is ideally suitable. So we have this unique adaptability, and it works almost in every culture. If you look, yes, we know that chess is booming in India, booming in US, booming in Turkey, booming in Indonesia. But we can also note that in every culture, we can see chess being rather popular or very popular, and this trend continues. It's true that there are various angles into it. It doesn't have always to be playing online. It can be following streamers. It can be taking chess lessons. It can be just playing. Just, kids in the schools, they play. More and more you see commuters playing chess while traveling. In airports, you see it a lot. In planes, everywhere. And that's a great advantage of chess. And I also think that for many parents, that would be, if they would know that their kid, yes, he or she is in a smartphone, but they're playing chess and not playing other games, that would be a different story. And that's why I connect it also to our general policy of retaining the values which chess is cherished for. Because that's very important, because when you come to, education ministry of certain countries, they appreciate chess not for how it is like a show, but rather for all the values which it gives to kid, which it may provide to a student, your ability to focus, to concentrate, to provide, to learn yourself. What's great about chess, I think like no other thing, it teaches you to feel your best or your worst moments. As a chess player. So it teaches you to prepare to meet what's happening in life in your best form. So you know that today you have an important exam or critical meeting or negotiations or just work to do. And so you know what are the best ways to approach it, because you learn how to come up to a certain situation at your peak. And that's very important. Many people who do not have chess experience wouldn't know that, but chess players do. Yeah. Even not necessarily at the very top level, even if you are seasoned players who competed in tournaments, they would know that. So chess has a lot of positive sides to it, but yes, it's always challenging to go with the zeitgeist and to remain, not to look suddenly outdated.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's certainly not outdated, because we have two young people. We have a teenager and, of course, Ding Liren, world champion, fighting it out here. A move has been played.
Knight b6, yes.
Can I ask your quick evaluation?
I don't know. Knight b6 was a bit unexpected, but looks very reasonable.
I quite like it. I think the idea is the same as knight f6, except your knight will not be hanging if white's knight jumps in. And you're also reminding white that the queen side's a bit weak, because now I think you can just take. And, for example, rook takes, you can jump in. And often you're coming in very quickly with knight c4, you're hitting this pawn.
Very much so, yes. That's a line which I also sort of... This one should not be too dangerous for black. If anything, maybe it's dangerous for white already. Knight c4 is coming. But maybe I can take d-e5?
D takes e5.
To try and have, knight d3, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Take, and maybe b3. Oh, I cannot, bishop g4, sorry.
I think it's time.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was talking earlier on. So it's very concrete. If pawn would be now on h3, b3 would probably be good, and then rook e3 picking the pawn, and you are not in time to attack the c3 pawn. But in this position, maybe I cannot. Looks not too bad for black, I would say.
Any predictions, Emil, overall for the rest of this game?
Too early. I think in 2 or 3 moves that would be clear whether we're heading to some simplifications and draw, or white will get an advantage and he will have ways to press. That's critical moment. This and next move, I guess.
Well, yeah, this is certainly a critical moment. And I'd like to thank you, Emil, for joining us here in the studio, sharing your stories, your thoughts, and of course, B-Day plans, and just exactly, what...
Gemini, can you help me plan my 3-day vacation? Generate a photo of a muscly capybara.
Explain the concept of supply and demand with OpenStax.
Hi, Gemini. Quiz me on the rise of industrialization.
Can you help me find an email?
Yeah, I can help with that.
There's no checkmate.